Hey everybody, good morning. How are you doing? I pray that today you are already in the midst of a really great day. As for me and my house, yes, we're going to serve the Lord. However, we are a little off schedule this morning, but all is well. We're still going to press on and do all of the things that it is that we're required to do, and the things that we desire to do. And the one thing that I desire to do is to continue these readings until, something else becomes clear as far as what it is that I'm to do with these mornings. I believe I'm learning that we're actually going to start doing them earlier in the morning um, rather than late. But either way, that won't impact if you do actually enjoy. Because again, I really do these to learn, practicing like video editing and things like that. So if you do and like them and enjoy them and share them and all of that, it's wonderful. But this is really a learning process for me. So I appreciate your patience with me. But for those of you who do stop in and comment, I really appreciate and react. I really actually do appreciate if you take any time of your day to spend time with me because, again, my desire is always to be improving. My pastor said something really interesting to me yesterday, and it really has been what I've been trying to do. And what I love was how he added language to what it is that I've been trying to do. And it's literally every day do better than you did the day before. Every day, be a better version of who you were the yesterday. And so, even if there were things that you did, like accentuate it, add something to it, for the glory of the Lord, because He's giving you skills, He's giving you, wisdom. And so, we should always be striving to do better and be better. And so that has been my desire. So moving forward, you are going to start to hear a little more of the Hebrew because I'm learning Hebrew. Not because you can't use English. I'm not, sacred name or, any of those movements. It is just simply I am learning Hebrew. And what I have learned thus far in Hebrew is if you've got to use it or you will forget it or it won't stick. One of the things that because there are people that I'm working with who are in the process of learning the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet, and one of the things that it is so important in trying to do that, it's kind of like when you were in kindergarten. You wrote your alphabet every day. That's how you got it locked in. You didn't get it locked in any other way other than, well, there was a song. And there are some Hebrew songs that you can learn to learn the song of the letters. But I'm not really interested in teaching people the song. I'm interested in teaching people the letters. And so, because it's the building block, it's the first thing that you need, the letters. And then, of course, you start working on the nikud, and then you start working on syllables, and then you start working on words, and then you start getting into grammar theory. And it's really interesting. So you're going to start to hear more of the Hebrew vocabulary as I'm going forward. So to explain to some, when you hear those Hebrew words again, I am not one of those. The J is only 150 years old. I don't care how old the J is. That's not why I'm using the name Yeshua. I use the name Yeshua because I am learning Hebrew and a little bit of Aramaic, and I desire to use what I'm learning. Jesus, I was raised on Jesus. So I would never be one of those people that would down anyone or judge anyone for their choosing to use Hebrew letters or Hebrew words or not. It is simply a matter of stretching for me in presentation and that kind of thing, but also just making sure that I'm applying what I'm learning, just like I try to apply what I'm learning from the scriptures. Anything that I believe is beneficial for my life, beneficial for ministry, beneficial for my walk, beneficial for the body, I'm going to use it. So you'll hear me use the name Yahweh. You'll hear me use the name Yehovah. You'll hear me use those pronunciations just simply because I'm learning Hebrew and I try to practice what I'm learning. The same way I practice what I preach, I try to practice what I'm learning as well. So um, But you'll also hear me use Jesus because I do realize I'm on a public platform. Everybody won't flow with that. And some people aren't going to watch this video and get the full, oh, okay, that's why she does that. So you'll hear it because I don't want to get in the way of anyone's understanding of what I'm saying and what I'm reading. But at the same time, I do want to use what I'm learning. Amen. So we're going to go ahead and get started so we can get moving because we are already off schedule. And I am about to be on schedule as soon as I press this button. So today on Read With Me, we are in Genesis 8. And we've moved a little forward. We started out with creation. Good place to start. We started out with creation. We walked through creation. We walked through seventh day. We walked through creation of Adam, and Hava, Eve. We went through the fall, where we are introduced to the serpent, who was more subtle than any creature. And we watch him beguile, is the word the scriptures use, or deceive, or seduce Hava into partaking in something that brings a downfall, simply because it was absolute disobedience to what the Father had said. And he used her uncertainty on, well, is that what the Father said? Hey, 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 we are back. Weird glitch there with the internet. So we're going to go ahead and get moving so that we can move through this day. Also, as I told you, I'm doing this as a learning exercise as well. So these videos are on YouTube as well. You can find it with my name, Tracy Lewis. You can find it with um, the page is actually the one assigned to Christ is Our Culture, which is the page that I set up some years ago, just as a place for sharing messages and uh, words of encouragement, information about various, studies and ministries and things like that. So um, definitely you can check it out there as well. And I'll put a link to it in the comments, actually, just in case you want to go over there and be supportive. Anywho, so we're gonna go ahead and get going. And we're gonna go ahead and get going, and we'll get going. So hold on one second, and we will move on into what it is that we are here to do. Just one second, I need to check something real quick. Let's make sure this ringer is off. Here we go. All right. Let's get started. We are in Genesis, or the Hebrew word for Genesis, Bereshit, uh, chapter 8, verse 1 through 9 and 17. Let's go. Genesis 8 and 1. And Elohim remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And Elohim made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark uh, rested in the seventh month upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noach opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth a raven which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. Hold on one second. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her feet, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noach knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the coverings of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, was the earth dried. And Elohim spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. So we see the plan for replenishing the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth after their kinds went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar. Before I move on, it's really funny. I remember one of my kids in Bible when East Oregon Children's Church. I remember one of my kids saying, "Gosh, I bet it smelled awful." I bet it did. Says and Noah builded an altar unto Yahweh, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And I'm going to read that again just because as I'm reading, one of the things I do focus in on are the promises. Again, you remember one of the things that I really had hoped to do was to be able to just give you some things to think about throughout the day and meditate on during the day. And so here's a promise. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living as I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. And Elohim blessed Noach and his sons and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And we're getting into some interesting things here that I wanted to just mention. We're not doing any kind of study with it, but I just wanted to mention you may have heard before of the Noahide covenant or Noahic covenant, Noahic laws, and it's what I've seen in some of just the little study that I've done on it. It talks about like it's like the basic, moral principles that looking at from like Genesis 2 up until this point, we see an expectation or like a bar being set for what's considered moral. And so you'll begin to see from this point forward, you see um, uh, reading it, from the list in a article from, let's see, Boston College, Center for Christian and Jewish Learning. Um, and they have an article on the Noahide Covenant, Theology and Jewish Law Text is the title. And it says here that per the Babylonian Talmud, they quoted the Babylonian Talmud here, and it says the descendants of Noah were commanded with 7 precepts to establish laws and the prohibitions of blasphemy, idolatry, adultery, bloodshed, theft, and eating the blood of a living animal. And so we're about to see, where most of those things are spoken of. But again, to be thinking that here at this point, what we're getting is, that since the very beginning, there has been an expectation the Father has had of his people. And so when we are believers, we call ourselves, followers of Christ. One of the things that we have to know is there's some guidelines, there's some parameters that are set on our lives, not to limit, but again, to keep us from those things that we talked about before, those things that just aren't good for us. And so I think we all can agree that it is good to live a moral life. But we know also that there are better and greater covenants and promises as we continue through the scriptures. And so he says, "In you be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And Elohim spake unto Noach and to his sons with him, saying, And I behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant. And that remember isn't a remember like in I forgot. It will bring to mind. It's a sign between the two of us. But it will bring up. It is a reminder, but not the kind of, oh gee, I forgot until I saw the bow. I knew I forgot. That's not the remember. This is the remember that is more intending to mean like bring to mind, or we will be reminded of this agreement that we made. It's the sign of our covenant. And it says, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And so it's an end of our reading for today, but I hope that it's not an end of your meditation or study time. I pray that it is just the beginning, that it triggers you into a time of meditation, a time of prayer, a time of reading the scriptures for yourself, maybe going back and reviewing the things that were read or dipping into some of the things that were mentioned. The mindset around those Noach covenants were the Noach covenant was really interesting to me. So I know I'll be going back and doing some reading in there just so I can have some things locked in my memory as far as, what those things were. But one thing that I'm going to take above all is the goodness and faithfulness of our Father, that after all of that, all of the flood and all of the loss and all of the devastation and all of the change, that with the new start, there is a promise that we won't deal with that destruction anymore. But it is a reminder that there is a day when the Father will return, that we do have to be preparing for it, living this life in light of the next. And so I think it is important. Yes, let's look at, how are we doing concerning those like minimum moral standards? Yeah, you're probably not killing anybody, blaspheming, idolatry, and those kind of things. But are we putting, the Lord first in our decision making? Are we putting him first? Or are we taking in light the grace that's been given to us to even be here today? Are we making the most of the time that the Father has given us today? So again, I want to encourage you to steward your time well, get some time alone, where you're able to pray, get in the scriptures. We will be back tomorrow, pressing even further in our readings. And we will, unless there's a study that comes up along the way, and if there's something from study that I think will be beneficial and needs to be shared, we'll definitely do that here and on the YouTube page. But I pray that you have a wonderful day. I don't know where you are. It's raining here in St. Louis. So at some point today, I do anticipate there will be rainbows, because at some point we know the sun is going to shine because of the promise that said, as long as the earth remains, seed time, harvest, the seasons, they're not going to go away. It may be weird because I believe we're living in a day when the seasons are becoming murky and things are changing. And some of the things that we're seeing in nature, some of the things we're seeing in the earth, yes, they're a result of how we've mishandled the earth. But I believe some other things concerning the timeline as well. So we won't get into those today because those are divisive and they're just my thoughts. Doesn't matter. So I will talk to you all later. Actually, I will be on later. But I'll probably just be on my page because I don't usually come on to fuss, but I'm going to come on and fuss a little bit just about some of the things that transpired over the last few days with some ministries that I am familiar with. One that I used to follow closely and some that I'm familiar with. And there's just some stuff I want to fuss about because it really had me in a place yesterday. It really had me in my feelings about how we're wasting time. How we're wasting time in a lot of these platforms and spaces. Not focusing on the word, not trying to find ways to help people, not trying to help people who, don't have the benefits of discipleship, don't have the benefits of being able to be close to a ministry that they feel like they can learn from and grow in. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it for a little bit, but not long, because I don't want to bring it back up. But you all go forward, have a wonderful day, and I'm about to go get about my other business. As I always say, rendering unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good day. Bye.